How to determine the distance between the vehicle and surrounding obstacles when turning.
I believe this is a headache for many novice drivers. Because if the judgment is wrong, obstacles are likely to be scratched. We saw that vehicles in public parking spaces were scratched to varying degrees. It's either the front bumper or the back of the car. To avoid this from happening,
Brother Leopard will explain to you today in 2 different ways of turning. Let us accurately determine the distance between the vehicle and surrounding obstacles when turning. First, when we turn.
Obstacle in front of the car.
How to determine the distance between the front of the car and the obstacle.
If there is a wall ahead when we want to turn. So all we have to do in the car is look at the edge of the hood.
The front hood edge line, this black one. And the edge line of the hood was found to coincide with the ground joint on the front wall. At this time, the distance between the front of the car and the wall is still about 3 meters.
Well, let's get out of the car and see how the distance is.
How about it? Now tie. This distance is about 3.8 meters.
So at this time, whether we go left or right, we can turn out safely in one direction. Okay, let's get back in the car and try it out. Then let's give it a try. Okay, now we can find that we have turned around safely. If we want to turn, we have a road in front of us. Then also keep an eye on our front hood.
The edge of this hood.
When the current hood coincides with the lower edge of the curb.
At this moment, the front of the car, it is about 3 meters away from the curb.
The turn is very safe and there will be no scratches. If it is a narrow road, it is possible that a distance as wide as 3 meters cannot be reserved.
Then Brother Leopard, let me tell you another limit point. Keep your eyes on the lower left corner of the windshield as you drive forward.
When we are in the lower left corner of the windshield, when you can see this lower edge. So now we're going to stop. Then we are at the limit of the turning distance from the front. Let's go ahead and try it out.
Okay, you can see that we have turned around safely, right? From the perspective of the outside of the car, we can see that although the gap left is very small, the distance is already very small.
But we can still turn around safely, right?
So if there's a horizontal vehicle ahead,
then let's keep our eyes on the front cover.
When the front hood coincides with half of the front wheel.
When half of the front wheels overlap. Then there are still 3 meters away from the car in front.
Our turns are very safe and there will be no scratches. So if it's front to front. So as long as our front hood just covers the front car license plate.
Okay, at this time, there will be no scratches when we turn.
But we can't go any further. Let's try it. Okay, you can see that we have turned it out safely, right?
If it is the front of the car to the rear of the car.
So as long as our hood just coincides with the lower edge of the rear bumper of the front car, it's good.
At this time, we are still 2 meters away from the car in front. We can also turn out in one direction.
This method can be used when we leave the warehouse on the side or when waiting for a traffic light.
If there is a pedestrian in front of the car, then we are safe as long as we can see pedestrians at or below the knee.
You can turn out in one direction.
So if we can only see above the knee, it could be dangerous.
This is how the front of the car judges the distance.
Then the next second is when we need to turn. How should we judge when there are obstacles on both sides of the vehicle? We often encounter this situation when passing through some narrow roads.
Let's say we have a right turn on a narrow road.
How do we determine the distance between the body on the left side of the vehicle and the obstacle next to it, which is this wall?
When the obstacle next to it is this wall. When the distance between the two sides of our vehicle is less than 30 centimeters. So as long as our B-pillar of the car passes this obstacle, we drive forward. When the wall next to it, the obstacle passes our pilasters.
Okay, at this time, if we hit the direction again, there will be no scratches.
Let's see it as a rearview mirror. It's been turned around safely, right?
Then if the obstacle next to it, that is, this wall, is about 50 centimeters away from our body.
So as long as our car windows, when the window glass is halfway over the obstacle next to it, we can make a direction. Let's take a look. Okay, so now we can see that half the window is already over this barrier. At this time, our direction will not be scratched.
Then if the distance between these two sides is more than 1 meter,
So as long as our rearview mirror passes the obstacle, there will be no scratches. Let's try it.
okay, now you can see our rearview mirror and it's past the wall. Now, let's kill the steering wheel to the left. It will not scratch the vehicle.
Let's take a look. Right.
Then the judgment method on the right side of the body is the same, because if our driver looks out to the sides in the car,
This extension line is the same.
it's all in the middle of this B pillar or glass, or the rearview mirror as the reference point.
The principle of forming a two-point line.
So our left and right judgment methods are the same. The old irons can find a place to test it for themselves,
And then what about using it at home?
because each of us has a different height and sitting position. So this method of judging distance may also be biased. But these points shared by the explosion are within the safe range. The error will not exceed 10 centimeters.
So don't worry about the error rubbing against our vehicle.
Don't worry, old iron. We can actually measure it. Find your own safe haven.
Teaching instructions because of violence.
We can use it flexibly by ourselves.
Don't just know the point. It is most appropriate to turn the point into your own.
It is also the safest.
Okay, so that's it for the video.
If you find it helpful,
Remember to share it with your friends who have cars around you. Maybe you have a little retweet.
we can help him at the crucial moment. Finally, don't forget to follow Brother Leopard's homepage. We share cars every day.
Tips for choosing a car and maintaining